What's going on, guys? This is Joe.
And Amy.
And we are here in the midst of opening some Ravnica Allegiance pre-release kits. We did our usual midnight where we opened all 5, but now we are back to open them individually. And you may have watched the last one, this Azorius pack that we opened, and it was just me. I keep saying we, but it was just me. This is my guild. It's the one I identify with the most, so I opened it myself. But Amy, why are you here today?
My favorite is Gruul, so I'm going to be in this video as we open up the Gruul pack.
So, in true Gruul fashion, let's just hurry up and get to it. Let's get these things out of the way. So, as we did last time, Azorius says on the back, Order, Authority, Control. And all the kits have these cool different, list of 3 different adjectives that describe the guild or action words or whatever you want to call it. Gruul's, in very Gruul fashion, it just says smash, smash, smash. So we are going to...
perfect.
Exactly. So we're going to open this kit up, if I can get into it. We're going to open this kit up, and we're going to see what kind of cool, sweet stuff is inside of it for us. And then we're going to try to make a deck. We'll do it off camera. We'll make the deck quickly off camera, and then show it to all of you and discuss our reasoning behind why we added in certain cards, why we didn't add in certain cards. And we can discuss it along the way and stuff. Let me zoom in so you guys can all see what we have working, what we're working with here. One of the best D20s, in my opinion, in terms of its look,
yes,
is this Gruul die. So you see the Gruul set symbol, or set symbol, wow. Guild symbol as the 20. It's a cool spin down life counter. Amy already has one of her own. That one's probably going to be mine, because Amy had the one from Midnight. There is a token. We are going to give that token, or a token, we're going to give the code away for a free draft at some point in the video. But you will have to watch to find out when that is. Also, Amy is the lucky one of the two of us, I will say. And so it is lucky for us that Amy is here. Let me quickly just show you the little insert that they include so you can separate your sideboard from your actual deck. But more importantly, bam, promo foil mythic Ravager Worm for Gruul. Thank you for being here, Amy. Appreciate it greatly.
He's so cool.
Yes, he is. He is 6 mana for a worm. 3 red, green, green. Yes, he is a 4/5 creature with Riot. And when he enters, you choose up to 1. So either it fights target creature you don't control, or you destroy a land with an activated ability that isn't a mana ability. So for limited, it's probably going to be the first one. You just play a 4/5 that you can either give haste or make it a 5/6. And then either way, it can fight a creature that you don't control. So you just play a 5-power creature and fight their biggest thing, which will probably die in the process. So yeah, this is a very sweet card. And it is 6 mana, it is double green, but if you're Gruul, which we're going to obviously try to be, then this is not that backbreaking in terms of a mana cost. So yeah, there you go. Once again, Amy, thank you so much. This is our seeded pack, if you are unfamiliar. So we're going to have all Gruul cards, or at least all cards that can be cast in a Gruul, only these 2 colors deck. And we start with a Gruul Locket. We have a Collision Colossus. Try to hold that up so you guys can see what it does. It is the uncommon split card. There are rare versions of split cards for each guild as well, but this is the uncommon split for the Gruul guild. I think this is a great card, no matter what.
I still don't know if I love the split cards, simply because they're just so tiny, you know?
Yes, they are.
They look like little...
baby cards.
Yeah, like Barbie cards or something. I don't know.
So we have what is almost certainly made as a Rakdos card, but it's mono red, so it works for Gruul. It is the Cavalcade of Calamity. And you're probably not going to have a ton of creatures with power 1 or less, so this is probably not a card that gets in, but still, it's an uncommon in red. Regenesis is also not a card I'm a super big fan of, but in the late game, I guess, maybe. This is obviously more a Simic card, so it kind of sucks, these 2 cards that we've gotten in a row here.
But both of their arts are cool.
Correct. Sagittarius Volley is fine. If you're playing best of 3 and in paper, this is probably a sideboard card, but there are in sealed and pre-release sealed, there are a lot of flyers going around. So this is not a terrible thing to include, but it's probably not, if you have better things, this can be like a 23rd card. Robobelt Recluse is a very nice card for this deck. Attacks each turn if able. It's a 6/5 and it's only 5 mana, so that's a great card. I like that a lot. Titanic Brawl. I will take every fight card you will possibly give to me. If we open Savage Smashes in here, I'm playing them no question. I will play every single one that I open no question. It's probably one of my favorite cards in the set is Savage Smash. But here is Titanic Brawl. I like this card as well. This is instant speed fighting, whereas the Savage Smash that I mentioned is a sorcery. We have a Feral Maka. I'm not super high on this card. If you need a 2-drop, it's a 2/2 for 2, and it's a vanilla creature. But again, this will be a 23rd at best. We have a Mammoth Spider. This one I would probably put in. It's a 3/5 for 5 with reach. It's a very good blocker. If you're late in the game and you don't need it to stay back and block, it's a great attacker as well because it's a lot harder to kill. So this is a fine card. Frenzied Airings I love. It's either a 3/3 or a 4/4 based on its Riot ability, and then you can pump it way in the late game to make it either a 6/3 or a 7/4, depending on whether you've put the counter on it or not. Territorial Boar. In Gruul, this card is great. We just saw the Frenzied Airings. We saw the Ravager Worm earlier. Either of those creatures coming down, if you give the Airings the counter, obviously, makes this thing a 3/3 with Vigilance until end of turn. And otherwise, it's just a 2/2 for 2 that you can get out nice and early. Getting a 2-drop down if your opponent is starting very slowly, you can get in for 2 to 4 damage, and that seems great as a good start for Gruul because, as we learned, they like to what? Smash. So we have a Burning Tree Vandal. Again, good 2-power or 3-power creature, and it lets you rummage, so you can discard a card to draw a card. Fine creature. The fact that it's 3 mana with either 1 or 2 toughness sucks a little bit, but I would still play it.
I don't know. I feel like in the past when we've tried to play that card, I don't know. I feel like it didn't do great for us.
That's why I mean, yeah, it's an early drop, which is not terrible. If you need to rummage, if you're flooding or you're looking for land and you need to discard a high drop, it's not terrible to help you search. And again, you may just do it, like attack with it. It dies, but you really just wanted to discard a card to draw a card. Like if you have a high drop in your hand, like this Wrecking Beast. I love this card. I think it does really well. I think more than one is bad because then you have 2 7-drops, and we already have this 6-drop here that we're almost certainly playing. So, but this card is great. I mean, 6/6 Riot, like that late in the game, you know whether you want to be attacking immediately with a 6/6 as soon as it comes out to surprise your opponent, or whether you just want a 7/7 trample to threaten your opponent for the later turns.
But either way, both of those sound really great.
Exactly, exactly. And they're both busted. So, yeah, for 7 mana, definitely worth it. And a Gruul Guildgate to help us cast our Gruul spells. We have a Kaya pack first. And we start with actually a fine card for the Gruul in Scorchmark. Great burn spell. It's 2 mana. It's an instant, so you can hold it up if you have no 2-drop to play, and you can just burn out whatever creature they play on their second or third turn, whichever, and then it gets exiled if it would die, which sometimes that's relevant, sometimes it's not, but it's a great burn spell to either kill something with 2 toughness, or if you've gotten into a combat scenario with an opposing creature, you can then just kill it post-combat or something like that, and like I said, exile it. So Scorchmark is very, very good. Persistent Petitioners is not good. It's not for limited, is really what it is. I mean, if people want to do janky things with this in Commander or other constructed formats, I am more power to you. I love the mill strategy just as much as any other person, but yeah, not for limited. Twilight Panther is a fine card, not for us. It's the 2 colors that we're not in, so it's going to be a lot harder. Sylvan Brushstrider, 3 mana, 3/2, gain 2 life. Fine card. It does trade down sometimes, which kind of sucks, but it gains you 2 life as well, so it's a fine creature to have on the board. If you can give it some combat tricks or something, then yeah, this guy does good work for you. Undercity Scavenger, aka the Hamburglar, thanks to our stream, we call this the Hamburglar now. It looks like he's eating a hamburger, but I think it's a brain. Whatever, it's the Hamburglar. We have another Burning Tree Vandal, so if we want to play 2, we have 2. 2 drops in Gruul seems good.
Yes.
Get stuff down early. We have an Ill-Gotten Inheritance. It's an enchantment. It's even if we were playing green somehow, or sorry, that's not green, that's black. Even if we were playing black somehow, like if we were trying to go into Rakdos, this would probably be a little slow for a Gruul deck. This wants you to make the game go long, and Gruul does not. So even if we splashed into Rakdos, this would probably not make the cut. Final payment. Again, 2 colors that we're not in, and that are going to be very difficult to splash both, although a good card, but not for us. Watchful Giant. It's not possible to splash into white because both of the guilds that would pair with white, pair our colors with white, were in the last set, Boros or Selesnya. So yeah, white is just not an option. Plus, I'm not a huge fan of that card to begin with. Vindictive Vampire. It's our first uncommon. Fine card. If we're going to Rakdos, I don't think we will. Depose Deploy. It's the Azorius uncommon flip card, or split card, excuse me. And it's, you know, not for us. It's a fine card, but not for this deck. Behind it, a Resolute Watchdog. Lots of white towards the latter end of this pack. Hopefully that doesn't lead us into our rare or mythic, but let's see. Our rare or mythic is... Nice. An Immolation Shaman. This card is good.
We saw this one, I feel like, all of once in all of the games that we played on Arena, and watching the pre-release, I feel like I've seen it literally once.
Yeah, well, I think we saw it in our first event that we did, in the preview sealed event that we did. But yeah, I think this card's good. I have no problems with it whatsoever. I like its first ability, and I like that you can pump it late game with some mana. So yeah, it's a 2 mana 1/3. I would be fine with that regardless.
I love that it's 2 mana, and I love the art.
Yes.
It's incredible.
And it's in our colors, so yeah, this almost certainly gets in. Behind Immolation Shaman, I think we have a foil. Oh my God! What did I say about Amy being lucky? Did I say that? I said that, right? Holy crap! What a Gruul kit! Yeah. I would have been happy with this no matter where we got it. Domri, as of the end of pre-release, Domri non-foil was the most expensive card in the set.
Really?
So now we have a pack foil Domri.
You did kick our butts when we played Arena.
Yep, and I played him last night in my last pre-release event that I did, and he was quite good for me.
Nice.
So, yeah, I think we're going Gruul. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Well, I think I may have just told you we had to go Gruul regardless. We would have just had to make it work.
Well, I'm going to listen to you, but look at this foiling pattern is really sweet too. The like bone accents on these boars' faces look really good in foil. Holy crap. That is incredible. Wow. And if we want to splash in Rakdos, we have this Rakdos Guildgate and a Spirit Token. I don't think we have to. Here is Domri on this next pack as well. Wow. This kit would have been... I'm glad nobody opened this in pre-release. That's disgusting. Here's a Humungulus, not for us. Prowling Caracal, not good and not for us, or not great and not for us. Gravelhide Goblin, it's in both of our colors. It's a 2/1 for 2, but it gets past the issues that we were talking about with the other card that we saw, the Burning Tree Vandal, that can only become a 3/2 or a 2/1. This can become, if you can pump it, a 4/3. So that's a lot better. Getting it to 3 toughness feels a lot better than only having it at minimum of 2. So yeah, this guy I think is better. We have a Steeple Creeper, not a terrible card to play. I just talked about the issue with 2 toughness, and we wouldn't really be able to give it flying, but it is a 4-powered creature. So if we wanted just a stronger creature to get in, and if we had like fight spells or removal or things like that to try to get through some of their lower powered blockers, just so that this could either get into their life total or to their bigger creatures, it's not terrible.
What do you have to do to give it flying?
You need blue.
Oh.
So you need 3 and a blue.
That stinks.
Yeah. Carrion Imp. Again, I like this card, but not for us. Sylvan Brush Strider again. A fine card. I don't know that I'd play like a million of these things, but 2 or 3, or 2 is not bad. Goblin Gathering. If we get more of these, yes. I would still play just 1, but the more you have, the better, because then you can make more goblins with each iteration of each one that you play.
Yeah, this one worked out pretty well for us, I feel
Correct.
like.
Even if, I think we've only ever had a max of 2, but even if we just had 1, like 3 mana.
But we frequently had it in decks.
Correct.
You know, whether we were playing Gruul, Rakdos.
Yeah. And
or splashing red and something else.
Correct.
I feel like we had it pretty frequently.
Oh yeah, well, and like because Orzhov decks really like it, Rakdos decks really like it, because or Orzhov Rakdos, because you make these 2 little 1/1s and then you can sack them for better abilities later on.
Right.
So yeah, but 2 1/1s for 3 is great, even if you only have the 1. Lawmage's Binding is a great card. I love it a lot, but it's not for this deck. Cerulean Caretaker, I am not a fan. I am just not a fan. It's 1 mana 0/3, but you have to tap it and another creature to get a mana. So you're losing 2 creatures that in a Gruul deck you could be using to attack, but in other decks you could be using to block. So I'm just not a fan. Summary Judgment, again, it's in white.
I feel like that card's only good if you're really mana screwed then.
Yes. Or if you're trying to splash like a 3rd and or a 4th color, that's what this is for. Yeah. Or if you're trying to ramp into like much bigger stuff, like if we played the Ravager Worm and we had like 2 of the 7-drop trample guys, like that's what this is for, is like, I don't care if you're attacking me because I'm going to eventually drop big worms and whatever, wrecking beasts and stuff.
Right. That
would be what this is for, but I don't see it. I don't think it's super necessary. Summary Judgment, definitely not for us, but a great card. Oh my god. I love this card so much. Like, it's just an uncommon, but I love this card. There is nothing wrong with this card. Nothing. I remember people in our stream, when we saw this card, when we were playing it, they were reading it, and they just, in chat, they were like, oh my god, it's broken, it's busted. Because the drawback on this card is supposed to be the mana cost. But if we're only in Gruul, this is not a drawback. 2 of each color is not that difficult to make. And read this card. If you haven't read this card yet, read it. Just read it. Each line, it gets better and better. Everything that you read. Like, this card is insane. I will play every one of these cards that I open. I don't care. Smelt
Gruul
Ward.
All the way, baby.
Yeah, apparently. God, Amy should be with me every time I open a kit, apparently. Smelt Ward Ignis. This card is fine. I'm not as high on this card. It is a 2-mana 2/1 that you can sack later on to steal one of your opponent's smaller creatures. I haven't gotten a chance to use it, nor have I actually seen anyone use it, but I feel like it could be okay. I have no basis of knowledge, so I'm not exactly sure.
I remember the first time you read off what that card does. I was like, that's so... I don't know, it's just confusing because it was so much stuff.
Yeah, it's a very corner case of what you can do with it, but if you can, it would probably be fine. Gatebreaker Ram, while in our colors, I don't know. We'd have to see how many gates we had. I doubt it, but if we have a bunch of Gruul Guild gates, we could probably do it. But we have Gruul and Rakdos so far, so I don't think so.
I don't think it's worth.
No. And I mean, it's a 3-mana 2/2. If we have like 2 or 3 gates in the deck, we can consider it, but I think we have much better choices right now. And our rare or mythic in this pack is... Ooh, a mythic. Okay.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, but he's not for this deck. Although, if we're splashing Rakdos, but I don't think we have to. But this is also the 3rd mythic of the kit, just to throw that out there. But here's the Spawn of Mayhem. I like this card a lot. Like Amy said, very, very good card. Even if you don't get to Spectacle it, it's only 4 mana. Like, what's wrong with this card? Okay. So what's wrong with this card is we saw an opponent die to this card because it killed them. It deals 1 damage to everybody, so it killed them. We got them down to 1, and then this demon killed them. So that's what's wrong with it, quote unquote. But yeah, this is a great card. If we were splashing black, I would play it. Behind Spawn of Mayhem, a Gruul Guildgate.
Yay!
We could do it. I don't think we will, but we could. And an Ooze. If we get this mythic Ooze, I'm going to lose my damn mind. This card is nuts. Speaking of things that are nuts, so Domri, if you notice, first of all, did you guys see we got a foil Domri? Did you see that? His ultimate, if you pause and take a look or whatever, you get an emblem. And at the beginning of each end step, you get a beast. And that beast is a 4/4 trampling beast. That's what it looks like. But why am I showing it to you? Well, because there's a code on the back for MTG Arena. We want to thank you guys for watching. Hopefully one of you gets this and gets a free draft. Pause the video, copy it down, whatever you have to do. But you get a free draft on MTG Arena. Thank you guys so much for watching. You get 1 code per account that you're able to use to get into a free draft. So good luck to you, to any and all of you.
You probably don't need the luck because it's from the awesome Gruul deck. So
yeah, definitely let us know if you get the code and how you do in your draft. So here is an Impassioned Orator in the next pack. Not for us. Rebel Slinger, definitely for us. Fine card in either of our colors, so even if we're missing a color, we can still play this no matter which color we're missing. And it's a reach creature, which is good because Gruul does not have a ton of ways to deal with flyers. We saw that Sagittar's Volley earlier, but still. Quench, not for us, but it's a counterspell. Noxious Grudian, very good. Sagittar, I talked about Sagittar's Volley, here it is. It's another one, so that's not bad. Sphinx's Insight, fine card, not for this deck. Clear the Mind, not a fine card. I mean, milling is whatever. Or shuffling their graveyard into their library, I don't know. This is not the best. Growth Spiral is fine. We're not in Simic.
No.
We have seen nothing to make us want to be in Simic.
Yeah,
although
pretty
the
much
art,
ever.
yes, in this, yeah, and this art is gorgeous though,
Yes.
which is what Amy was, I assume, reacting to.
Yes,
because this is very gorgeous.
Because it's one of my favorite arts, which is saying a lot because I really, really, really love the art in this set.
Yes, it is very good.
I feel like incredible compared to pretty much any other that I've seen in the past.
And I feel like I've said that a lot recently, so I feel like it's just getting better and better. But I like every time I'm like, I don't know how they could.
Thing.
Yeah, but I'm like, I don't know how they could improve, and they do.
Right.
So
that's a good thing.
Yeah, should be cool. Skewer the Critics, hell yeah, this card is great. The more of these, the better. I have not seen a lot of these opened, to be fair. If you missed our video where
this card has kicked our asses so many times.
Yes. It doesn't need to be played in Rakdos, despite the fact that it has Spectacle. Like, this card's just great. I will absolutely play it, even if we're, like, Gruul, whatever. Yeah. I'm playing this card. Yeah. It's just fantastic. If you missed our midnight video where we opened all 5 kits, we opened 5 kits. That's, 5 times 6 packs, or although the 6th pack is the seeded pack, so 5 times 5 packs. That's 25 packs. We got 1 of this common in all 5 kits, including seeded packs for the 2.
So it's lying about the fact that it's common.
Yeah. We have a Clear the Stage as our first uncommon.
The art on that card.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love it.
Yeah. And again, probably not Rakdos, but it's a possibility. We got that Spawn of Mayhem after all. We have a Consecrate Consume. It's part white, so it's not for us, but it's a cool split card for Orzhov. Let's let the camera figure out what we're doing. Okay. And now our third uncommon is a Forbidding Spirit. Once again, still white, still not for us. That kind of sucks. These uncommons were not amazing for us, but let's see what our rare or mythic is. It is... Oh, I love the art on this card so much.
Wow.
So much.
I haven't even seen that.
Oh, he's so cool. Benthic Biomancer. Again, not for us,
beautiful.
but yeah, absolutely gorgeous. What a great Simic card. Amy loves Merfolk, so there you go. Here's another Merfolk for you. Yeah, this card is gorgeous. Just beautiful. Merfolk Wizard Mutant. Behind it, we have a foil uncommon. So once again, I'd consider that lucky. It's not for us, it's white. It's like the only color that we couldn't profitably splash. But it's a great card. I like this card a lot. And in foil, it's really cool. It buffs your flyers +1 toughness to all of them. So there you go. Behind it, an Orzhov Guildgate and another Ooze token. God, it's like taunting us. We have 2 more packs left, folks. It is definitely still possible to open that a 4th mythic in the box. God, that would be so cool. Oh, man. Okay. We have a Hazda Officer to start. Scorchmark. Very nice. Wow, this kit is cool. Arrester's Admonition, fine card, not really for us. Sauroform Hybrid, I will absolutely play.
Good.
Absolutely.
We've played him a bunch of times.
Yeah. 2 mana 2/2 is great. Being able to make it a 6/6 later on is awesome. There are things that care about +1/+1 counters, but even if you don't have it, you just make a 6/6. So that's great. Dead Revels, good card, not for us. Exposed to Daylight, sideboard card, also not for us. Grotesque Demise, fine card, not for us. Sphinx's Insight, same thing. Clear the Mind, not a fine card, but still not for us. Growth Spiral, again, probably not splashing into Simic, but gorgeous art. Rakdos Firewheeler. This whole pack is just not for us, I guess. This card is fine. It's a fine card. It's gorgeous art. I'm sure Amy would point out, so I'll get in before that. But yeah, beautiful art, and that's about where it goes for us for now. But it's our first uncommon. Second is... Jesus. Fireblade Artist.
That's a great card.
They're very good. So at this point, you may start thinking, maybe Rakdos. And that's a possibility. It's something that Amy and I will look into when we're building the deck, because between like these two cards that we just opened, but we also got this Spawn of Mayhem Mythic,
Right.
like it's definitely something to consider once you do that. Like even though you've got Domri and this Ravager Worm and things like that, like you can still look into splashing a third color. It's not impossible. So I don't know. We will have to look and see.
Yeah.
And our third uncommon is Rumbling Ruin. This is an okay card. But like I said, there are cards that care about +1/+1 counters, right? So we would be able to, if we had made our guy a 6/6, since this is 6 mana, if we had made our 2/2 a 6/6, this cares about that and it matters. So I would probably play this no matter what, even if that is the only card that we have with a counter, although we have tons of things with Riot as well. So, and our rare or mythic is... Good God. Oh my God, why?
Nice.
It just gets better and better. Stomping Ground. Sure, it's a shockland. Sure, it's in our colors. Sure. Why not?
Hey, even when we were playing Arena, we ended up with a lot of Gruul cards.
Yeah.
Just over and over
Yeah.
and over
Gruul
again.
loves
which
us.
is why at some point we started to get frustrated.
Yes.
Because we weren't getting enough Orzhov or Simic or, just things that we hadn't played yet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but so, yeah, here's a Stomping Ground. Behind Stomping Ground, a Rakdos Guildgate. My God. Yeah, this deck's going to be very difficult to make. And a Goblin Token. We have one pack left, guys. One pack. Vanifer is on it. Let's see what is in it.
I also really love the art on that Rakdos Guildgate.
Yeah. I mean...
Not totally thrilled about the Stomping Ground art, though, I have to say.
Fair, and especially compared to like the Hallowed Fountain spoilers that we opened in the last video. The Hallowed Fountain is gorgeous, and the Stomping Ground is okay. Stomping Ground loves us as well, though. I mean, go watch our midnight opening of all 5 kits. You'll see what I mean. Here is a Sage's Row Savant, Viscopa Vampire. Still no. Gravelhide Goblin, fine. We talked about this guy earlier. He's in both Gruul colors, or his activated ability is in the second Gruul color. Excuse me. We have a Humongulous, Plague White, another Sylvan Brushstrider. I'll consider the third one. Probably not. A Catacomb Crocodile with the fun little story as the flavor text. Burning Tree Vandal. This is a third one of these as well. Once again, I'll consider the third. Rakdos Locket, help us cast our Rakdos cards if we're going Rakdos. Law Mage's Binding, good card not for us. Depose Deploy, also a good card not for us. I showed it earlier, so I won't flip it again. Eyes Everywhere, fine card not for us. Second uncommon. And a Scrabbling Claws. I again, love the art, cool colors. I don't think this card's for us. It cares about things in the graveyard, seems much more of a constructed, like, hate card for particular decks. So...
I feel like I haven't seen this one yet.
Yeah, it's uncommon. I haven't seen a lot of them myself, maybe 1 or 2. And they don't get played because we've only played limited, and it's not really for limited.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
And our last rare or mythic is... Rixmati Reveler.
Nice.
It's in our colors. If we're splashing Rakdos, its spectacle cost is in our colors as well. We don't have to play it for its spectacle cost. We can just rummage once with it, discard a card, then draw a card. Or we can use its spectacle cost and discard our whole hand to draw 3 cards. And our whole hand could be...
card.
Yes, our whole hand could be empty, or it could have like a land in it that we don't care about or something like that. But that's when you want to use this guy. That's when he's the best. And he is in our colors. So... Behind him, a Simic Guildgate, not as helpful to us, although we could have tried to splash blue if we saw something that was like super compelling, which we didn't, and a Spirit Token. Are going to take quite some time to make this deck. You will see us back in just a second. Okay, so we're back. I will say, not as difficult as we thought, to be fair. We looked through the red cards and the green cards. We pulled them out. We pulled out which Gruul cards we wanted in gold. And we had exactly 23. So the deck kind of made itself. It does mean we didn't get to play Rakdos, but when you look at this, I mean, ignore these 3. That's not technically part of the curve. Those are just the land that we wanted you to see that we have. One of each Gruul, art of the Guild Gates and the Stomping Ground. And we have all this. So the issue, I think, is if you look at the curve, let's move the land now that you've seen them. If you look at the curve, it doesn't look great. We're heavy on 2 and 3 drop creatures, and we have nothing after 3 in terms of like spells or combat tricks. Like we have Domri, but that's it. But what I would say is everything after 3, everything that costs more than 3 mana is a threat that needs to be immediately answered. And I like that. I think that that's a really good way to play Magic. It's like any of these cards, if they don't deal with them, will very quickly kill them or help to kill them.
And I feel like that's what you want in a high drop creature, right?
Correct. Or Domri, right? Domri technically counts in that, but otherwise, yes, high drop
not a creature, but no. It's the same sort of idea.
Right, and he ramps us to our bigger stuff, and that bigger stuff then gets Riot. Also, be aware with these 2 cards, since they already have Riot does stack, so you can either put 2+1/+1 counters or give it a counter and haste, which is
awesome.
Yes, which is almost always the correct answer. You almost always give it 1 counter and haste, and then swing in, because then it's just that much harder for your opponent to deal with, whereas if you just give it 2 counters, they at least have a turn to think about what they're going to do, whereas if you just play it out and swing, it's a lot more backbreaking for that reason.
And obviously you don't do haste because it's just it doesn't need it.
Nope. And that's
it's just redundant.
Yeah, you sure could if you want to if you're going to win that
yourself over.
Well, if you're going to win that turn anyway, and you want to be like the worst kind of a human being, yes, you could give your creature double haste because you're like, I don't even need the extra counter, I win. But don't ever be that guy, gal, or other. Like, just don't do that. That's rude. So anyway. This is our deck. What I will say, I always try to have a question, like, this deck genuinely made itself. And yeah. I personally do not think that you need this. This is the Gruul Locket, obviously. Now, it adds red or green, so on turn 3, you could take some time off to cast the Gruul Locket. I mean, my issue is I would rather play a creature or something like that, but since our bigger stuff is 4 and higher, what do you think? Would you cut one of these lower cards or even maybe one of these higher cards to play the Gruul Locket so that it allows you to ramp up to your bigger stuff sooner and then maybe draw cards later? Or do you think that it's more important to have some of the things that we have here? And if you think that the Gruul Locket is better, what would you take out? It does suck that we did not get the instant speed smash card, the fight card, because I love that card and it would go amazing in this deck.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I
also kind of think it sucks that we don't have any 1-drops at all.
Yes, because this is 2, if you didn't notice. This is 2 here on this side, and there are no 1s. We didn't just cut it off on the camera. So yeah.
But at least we have a lot of 2s.
Yes.
So at least the probability that we'll draw a 2 early on is pretty high.
Yeah. And I mean, usually your curve is supposed to be kind of parabolic. This is just a diagonal line. But still, I think it allows us to curve out a little bit better. I'm not usually a fan of playing Guild Gates in Gruul because if it comes into play tapped, if you've drawn it later, you don't get to curve out. But I'm hoping to be able to start the game with a Guild Gate since we have nothing for 1. So then we play the Guild Gate turn 1, basic land, regular basic land turn 2, and then play one of these and then move on from there. So we shall see. Please tell us what you thought, first of all, of the opening, because good God, this opening was sick.
Yeah.
In the comments down below.
I'm so lucky that we literally wound up with 23 cards exactly.
Yep.
That were just definitively Gruul cards, basically. Yep. Or if it was anything else, it was just a card that you have to play.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we had 2...
in our colors anyway.
Right. We had 2 more Burning Tree Vandals that we didn't put in. Again, for a reason. We actually chose to take out one of the Sylvan Brush Striders and put in the Steeple Creeper instead, even though we can't give it flying. So, in case you couldn't see that, give us your opinions on that. There's the Rubble Slinger in here for flyers. We can always board in. We got 2 Sagittar's Volleys. So those are 100% in our sideboard, no question. But we also have Collision if we really need it for a flyer, main board. So, yeah, otherwise that's Colossus is just what we're going to be playing there. So, yeah, let us know what you thought of the opening, of how well we did, of the deck, what you would do with it. Would you try to put Rakdos in? Or do you think that this is good enough? What would you do with the Gruul Locket, etc.? In the comments down below. From the Geek for All YouTube channel, I have been Joe.
And I'm Amy.
I thank you all so much for watching. Please feel free to check out some of our other videos. They should be popping up on the screen. Hopefully you enjoy those. And as we always say, in whichever video of ours you watch next, we will see you all next time. Thanks, everybody.